So, hello.
Okay.
Hello. As we often commit, we have a situation where we forgot to do some changes, like there was some typo, but the previous commit was already done, so the question arises how to amend changes. We have two situations. First, we can create a new commit or amend with the previous one. Today, I'll be talking about how to amend last change, more changes, and how to be more flexible with Fixup. So let's start with amending last change, because this is the very simple one. And how many of you are using amend option with Git? Nice, good. So we have a situation that there's some specs, the commit is already in the Git, and we noticed that we forgot to add something or there was some typo. And should we commit as a new change? I don't think so. Because if the change could have been merged with the previous one, we should not add a new commit unless the changes were already pushed to the master. So let's see what we can do to amend the situation. So first we're just adding changes to the staging and commenting with --amend. It looks like this. So the typos that we found and committed are now in the very same commit. So always consider where's the font. Consider amending changes if the change could have been merged with the previous one. Now we know how to amend the last change, but how can we amend more changes? Let's see. Very common situation. We have a local branch, 3 commits, and actually they all represent the same single added value, like this. Of course, the list is very limited here. I've seen more commits like work in progress, and more work in progress commits on the way. So it's okay to have those work in progress commits when you're working on a feature branch locally. But before pushing to the master branch or before giving other colleagues to a review, we should get rid of all the commits that does not bring any value in the future. So no added value, we can, of course, we can squash them, and I'll show you how. Because let's see what we have when we do some display div between the two last commits. Okay, so before we can amend the change, first we have to move the changes back to the staging area. So this is what the soft reset does, and the next step is to amend as previously, but this time we will use no edit option. I will talk about it in a while. So when we solve the reset changes, the changes, as I said, are moved to the staging area and are ready to be committed. Without the no edit option, the editor would open and will allow you to customize the commit message. So always try group.
Secret also works.
Sorry?
The dash secret.
Mm-hmm. That's right, but it was more explicit, I think. Okay. So always try to group related changes. And there is another thing, that how can we amend changes with the commit that is not the most recent one. Of course, I hope that many of you knows. Of course you can. And it's like this. We noticed that in the spec we made some typos, but we can't use amend as previously because the most recent commit is decorator. So we can add changes as usually, and then use the Fixup option. What the Fixup option does is to label, prepend the very same commit that we want to merge with the targeted commit with a Fixup label. And so after Fixup, there is a new commit, the most recent one, that when we run auto squash, the Git will rearrange all the commits with prepended fixup so that the changes are merged automatically. So after its operation, it will look like this. So the editor will open, and after saving the changes, we will be able to amend the changes with the commit that was not the most recent one. So Fixup gives you lots of flexibility, and sometimes it's faster than, for example, using Git rebase interactive and rearranging the changes in the window that will pop up. Today I was talking about how to amend changes, how to amend the last change, more changes, and how to be more flexible with Fixup. Do you have any questions regarding that?
Where is the font?
I don't know where is the font. It's so sad, so the value is...
It's fontless.
Fontless, yeah, it's fontless. So. Any questions? How many of you have been using this Fixup? You. Brother, have you had any chance to use Fixup?
Sorry, I can hear you.
Okay, have you had any chance to use Fixup?
Sure.
Yeah.
But I
so
usually prefer to just commit as the last commit and rearrange in the model.
Other guys, have you been using it? Are you considering using it?
Yes.
Okay, so that's nice. Thanks.